Hey, glad you're here. My name is Dale Calvert. I'd like to welcome you to the podcast where we provide people the path to becoming millionaires. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, please hang in there to the end. Try to listen to it uninterrupted. I have not lost my mind. If you're brand new, this is the first time you've ever heard this podcast, I'm sincerely glad you're here. The first thing you should always ask yourself is, who is this person? Why should I be listening to them? My name is Dale Calvert from the Atlanta, Georgia area. I've been an entrepreneur all my adult life. You can learn more about me than you would ever want to know at dalecalvert.com. And just for the record, I believe that is one of the most important questions you can always ask yourself. Who is this person? Why should I be listening to them? The short version is I was raised in a little small town in Kentucky called Stamping Ground, population 400. Out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was going to school at nights, working in the day. Then I got a job at IBM in Lexington, Kentucky. Everybody said, Dale, you've got it made the rest of your life. You're with a great company, great benefits, stay there, work hard. Great things are ahead of you. And I was absolutely miserable every day of my life. I could not live in that type of environment. I got started with a part-time side gig in the network marketing industry, working with the Shackley Corporation. It took forever. It took a lot of learning, but in 5 years, I was able to leave IBM, in Lexington, Kentucky. By the time I was I was actually living in a little 600 square foot home and driving a beat up Chevy Chevette. By the time I was 35 years old, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 40 years old, I was a multimillionaire. And, around 2000, I retired and coasted for a long time, at least coasted in my mind and based on my work ethic and what I'm used to. But I love the game. I love the game of entrepreneurism. I love the game of inspiring and helping people. So that's a little bit about me. Again, you can learn more than you would ever want to know. Dale Calvert, CALVERT.com. So tell me a little bit about yourself. If we were talking, I said, well, tell me about yourself. How'd you find this podcast? Did somebody share it with you? Did somebody share this podcast with you, send you the link? Did you just find it and click a random link? And I'm really just kind of curious. And, the title of this podcast is Huge Cryptocurrency Income, Free to Join. Doesn't cost a thing, 50 slots opening soon. I'm just curious, what about that title caused you to click? And if it's okay with me, okay with you, if it's okay with you, it's okay with me. Let's just assume that you've hired me to do a consultation. And please understand that unlike 95% of the free consultations or coaching calls that are happening in the entrepreneurial world today, I have nothing to sell you and nothing to pitch you. Let me say that again, because if you've been on any phone call, coaching call, free consulting call, 95% of them are designed to pitch you or sell you something. So that's not me. That's not me. That's not the purpose of this podcast. I do conduct these calls. I do have coaching and consulting calls, but not those kind. People hire me, that I've worked with in the past, or companies. My initial 3 hours is $5,000. And there is a 3-hour minimum. But today's kind of your lucky day. Our time together today is going to be free. So the first question I would ask you if we were just talking is, I would want to know, how old are you? Tell me about yourself, your background, your family, etc. And what I really want to know, because what I realize and why I would ask those questions and probe just a little bit. Where are you in the birth order? Do you have siblings? Who raised you? Where were you raised? That type of thing. What I know and probably where my real passion is, but what I understand is about the time we're 12 years old, we have reinforced whatever programming we were brought up with. See, our authority figures, family, friends, authority figures, teachers, program our minds from the time we're born to the time we're 12 years old. And they create expectations for what is possible for us in our life based upon a lot of other things, usually their self-limiting beliefs. And yes, I'm speaking of teachers, preachers, parents, and so forth. So breaking those patterns are very difficult. It can be done, but it's not easy. So when I'm talking with someone, I have to understand who am I talking with? What's their background? Where are they coming from? What have they done or not done in the past? I need to understand who I'm talking with. And again, I'm not going to go down that road too far. You can learn more about this concept if you want to at programmingyourmind.com. And obviously, I'm serious about this subject because I own the domain name, programmingyourmind.com. So my advice on how to become a millionaire would be different generally to those that are 35 years old and under than it would be for those that are 35 years old or older in general. So if you're 35 or younger, and I'm hoping there's a lot of teenagers and early 20s that have found this podcast, I just need to share with you an email that I received this week and was really kind of the inspiration behind this podcast from Ava Olivia. Ava lives in Michigan. And this is it was actually a Facebook message that I received this week. She had found me on Facebook. She said, Mr. Calvert, you probably don't remember me. 9 years ago, you sent me a note that I considered to be very rude. And at the time, in regards to an attraction marketing conversation several of us were having on Twitter. I was in My Lead System Pro at the time. You sent me your 7 Lies of Attraction Marketing ebook. I read through it and thought you were one of those old school marketers everyone warned me about. At the time, I had no concept of wisdom of the ages principles. You were right. My primary network marketing team got totally distracted away from building their business, and they were more worried about becoming a social media influencer. I was 22 years old at the time, and you told me I had a lot of spunk and too much self-reliance. You said I needed to grow up and understand the world didn't owe me anything. You said I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was going to need to be willing to learn to work hard, grind, and master the fundamentals of any business that I was involved with. And then you said something about the 7th place participation trophies in your life are over. A few days later, in the mail, you sent me a copy of some random book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad that I actually found and read last night while unpacking from yet another move to another crappy apartment. Your note in front said, Ava, my mentor taught me years ago, you must care enough about people to tell them what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. I doubt you will take the time to read this book, but hang on to it. One day when you're ready, it will speak to you. Thoughts and prayers, Dale Calvert, 4/8/2013. I'm just writing you to say you were right. I have spent the last 9 years jumping from one get-rich scheme to another one, trying to build a social media following and acting like something I'm not. I've had enough. I am almost emotionally and financially bankrupt. I have a decent paying, tolerable job, but I can't see myself retiring there. Financially, my business ventures and bad decisions have put me head over heels in debt. I need to start all over, make some money now, and find a path that will take me towards financial independence. What should I do? So that was the email that I got. And normally I would just pick up the phone and call the person if I could find the number, but there was no number that I could find. And so I just sent her an email and talked to her honestly in the email, like I would want somebody to talk to me if I was in that situation. That's how I talked to her. And I may or may not ever hear from her again, but this was the email response that I sent to her. And as I'm talking to Ava through this email, I have no doubt there's some of you listening to this that need to hear this as well. I said, Ava, I'm willing to help you. Here are the 3 steps I suggest. Contact me after you have completed these steps and not before. Number 1. Quit hanging out with the crowd you've been hanging out with online and offline. You need to get in a positive, uplifting environment. If you don't have a church you attend regularly, find one. Number 2. As you are unpacking in your new apartment, get a clothes basket and fill it with 20 items that are worth at least $20. That if they had got lost in the move, you really would have not ever missed them. Now is not the time for being attached to stuff. Stuff means nothing. So let go of those diamond earrings or the handbag you bought so you could show off with, or whatever else can fit inside the clothes basket. Stuff means nothing. After you have 20 items, I want you to sell them all 20 on eBay. We need to raise at least $100 as soon as possible and hopefully more. So let that stuff you bought to look fancy go. After you sell 20 items with a value of $20 or more for at least 50% of the value, you will have $100 plus to work with, hopefully more, around $300 to $500. If you have items you can get rid of that won't fit within the clothes basket, sell them on Facebook Marketplace. And the reason I say 20 items that will fit in a clothes basket is because they'll be small and easier to ship. That's why I've always taught that when people get started with eBay. Continuing to my email here. If you need to learn how to sell items on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, you can find step-by-step guides at Online Auction and then the letter U.com. After you've collected your first $100 from the sale of the stuff, go to cmgihubteam.com and join our team. The application fee is $99. But after you join, I can get you plugged into a business that has the most upside potential of anything I have seen in years, and get you connected with a team of awesome, supportive people that know how to grind and work. They'll tell you the truth, and they'll support you. After you have done all 3 steps, schedule a call on my calendar, and here's the link, and I gave you the link to my call calendar. Now, everybody that's listening to me that's under 35 years old who have found this podcast, I can tell you with certainty that there's a very, very good chance that you are on the same path Ava has come down over the last 8-9 years, whatever she said. And quite frankly, some of you could probably be 10, 12, 14 years down this path. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to you? Does Ava and her path to this point, is it similar to your path? Spinning your wheels on the hamster wheel. Einstein said, ignorance at its highest level is to continue to do what you've always done the way you've always done it, expecting different results. The fact that you would click on a podcast session that says huge cryptocurrency income, free to join, don't cost a thing, Doesn't cost you a thing. 50 slots opening tells me that more than likely your mind is in the wrong place. And I'm just trying to be honest with you here. Stay with me. I am appalled at the number of Facebook messages that I see in different entrepreneurial-oriented groups saying, I am looking for an opportunity, and here's the criteria. Free to join. It must be free to join. Free to join. Is that really the criteria on which you should be looking for a business? Not, I'm looking for something timely. I'm looking for something that I can replace my current income. I'm looking for something that can provide me unlimited income. I'm looking for something that has a product that the market that appeals to the psychological mindset of the market in which we all live in right now. Nothing like that. Free to join. Free to join means I'm a loser in my mind. And I hate to be that blunt, but that's the way I read that. It's sincerely the way I read that. And again, I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm trying to help people. Please hang in here with me. But I want to tell you, so many people spend years of their life searching for the magic. I call it the foo-foo dust. They're looking for somebody to come along and sprinkle the foo-foo dust on them, and where they can wake up one morning and they have enough riches, it's almost as though they've won the lottery overnight. Zig Ziglar, one of my personal development mentors back early in my career, told a story about a wise king that pulled in his most educated philosophers and scholars. He brought them all together, and he said, we need to be able to help people in the kingdom, and we need to help them prosper and move forward in life. And I want you guys to put together the wisdom of the ages. The wisdom of the ages, things that will guarantee success for them. And the philosophers and the educators all left. They put their heads together. They put together the wisdom of the ages. They bound it up. They brought it back to the king. And there was 12 volumes, and one was on goal setting, and one was on time management, and so on and so forth. And the king read through the volumes, and he said, this is phenomenal. It's true. These 12 volumes truly are the wisdom of the ages principles that will lead anybody to success. But it's too long. People will never read it. They're impatient. Condense it. So they left, came back, and this time they came back with one volume, and the king read it, and he said, this is brilliant. It truly is the wisdom of the ages principles that will create success for people. But it's still too long. They won't read it. So they left. They came back with a chapter. Then they left, and they came back with a paragraph. And then they left, and they came back. One day, finally, the philosophers and the educators walked in to see the king, and they handed him one sentence. And the king read the sentence, and he said, you have done it. You have done it. You have, in one sentence, shared with what we can share with people to help to make sure that they prosper and grow and have success. And the one sentence said, there ain't no free lunch. There ain't no free lunch. There ain't no foo-foo dust, guys. And I understand, and I feel sorry for people that have grown up in the internet age and with YouTube, and where you've got all these self-proclaimed gurus trying to teach people how to get rich doing that which they've never done. I get it. I understand it. I'm glad that I wasn't I didn't grow up during that time. I am very thankful that I didn't, because I would have probably been flopping all over the place like most people that are trying to move forward in some type of entrepreneurial endeavor, as I see all around me every single day. People listening to the wrong people, They never ask, who is this person? Why should I be listening to them? They never do any due diligence. They never look behind the curtain. They're just looking for somebody that looks like them, talks like them, acts like them, about their age, that has gotten rich, who's driving a Lamborghini. And it's really scary to me. So don't even think about not taking some time when you get off this podcast and doing your reset. It's time for a reset. What are your 3 steps? I gave Ava her 3 steps. Those would be the 3 steps based upon what she shared with me, where her situation is right now. I gave her the 3 steps that I believe that she can follow that will pull her out, get her on the right track with the right people, doing the right things and moving forward. What would your 3 steps be? Don't even think about leaving this podcast once it's over and not taking some time and thinking about your 3-step reset. If I had to do over again, I would have called this well, I wouldn't, but if I wanted to really come to grips with what is this podcast really about, that would be the title of this podcast. It's time for a reset. 3-step reset. But if I had named it that, you wouldn't even have clicked on it, would you? You wouldn't even have clicked on it. 3-step reset. I'm going to find something that's going to make me wealthy, where I don't have to work too hard, that's free to join. So don't even think about not taking some time when you get off this podcast and putting together your personal 3-step reset plan, whatever that is for you. You know, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. Whoever's listening to this, we have people listening all over the world. But I can tell you that for many of you listening, there's no question in my mind, based upon everything that's happening all around the world, all the disruption that we see, now's the time to get serious. And there's a lot of great opportunities in different business niches, but unfortunately, great opportunities attract self-proclaimed gurus whose only purpose is to tell you what you want to hear so they can sell you what they want to sell you. You know, how many times do you have to hear, it's not your fault, it's somebody else's fault. It's that last course you bought. It's that guru's fault. It's this person's fault. It's somebody else's fault. You know what? It's your fault. It's your fault. Until you accept responsibility, you cannot rise out of the situation that you're in. It's your fault. Now, look, maybe you got messed over. Maybe you were deceived. Whatever. But you got to get past it. You have to get past it, because if you don't get through that and move forward and move on, that will stay with you forever. You know, I did a training years ago called Forever a Victim. I don't think so. I'll put a link to the video of that training in the show notes here, wherever you're listening to this podcast. Because I understand there's some of you that have been through major, major disappointments. There's some of you that have been involved in businesses or programs, and you gave it your heart and your soul and everything that you had. And for whatever reasons beyond your control, it didn't work out. And now you're disappointed and you feel bad and you feel like a victim. And I'm here to tell you, I know how that feels. That describes my first 5 years as an entrepreneur. And you have to get past that. You have to choose to get past that. Your past doesn't equal your future unless you want it to. And there are people that are 35, 45, 55, 65, 70 plus years old who got in this pattern of seeking different opportunities, one after another, after another, after another, after another, and never broke the pattern, never broke their pattern. And then they end up in their 90s or so in a nursing home in a state of wistful regret. And you can I've done a podcast, I think, just on wistful regret. That's the pattern if you don't stop and do a three-step reset plan. And again, I don't know what your three-step reset plan is, but if you've been down this entrepreneurial road anytime at all, you probably do. And here's the thing that I want you to hear more than anything else that I can tell you. And you have something very, very, very special. You have something that 70% of the population does not have in their DNA. You have something 70% of the population does not have. 70% of the population has other skills and abilities and intellect, and they can help in other areas of life. But you have something 70% do not have, and that is ambition. Ambition. So for all of you under 35 years old, I would tell you to understand that there's wisdom of the ages principles. There's reasons that people succeed and there's reasons that people don't. The reason a lot of hardworking people don't succeed is they're simply involved with the wrong opportunities at the wrong time in history. And they don't understand the concept to find something that makes sense, that's timely, that the market will accept, and find the right mentorship person, people, team, and go to work. They don't get basic fundamentals. And so I want to encourage you, if you're under 35 years old and you clicked on this podcast, your mindset needs to be changed. I can promise you that. Now, for all of you that are 35 years old or over, everything that I just said to Ava and everything that you've just heard me say on this podcast, it goes double for you. It's double. It's double because you're way too far down the opportunity seekers rabbit hole. You're way too far down it. The fact that you would click on this, and if you don't know me, if you know me, then you know. But if you didn't know me and the title attracted you more than anybody need to really regroup and get your new 3-step process together like right now. So there's some other sessions in this podcast that will help you. You can go to session 269 if you go to MLMsuccess.com, because they're really relating. Most of the podcasts that we do relate more to just the entrepreneurial journey. Many are specific to network marketing and team building, but not all of them. And the principles are the principles. Wisdom of the ages principles apply to any business niche. So in 269, that session is Get Your Act Together. That's the name of it, and many of you need to hear that. That can be very beneficial for you, especially those of you that are over 35 years old. The session 229, Simplified Success, is very good as well. And then session 221 through 241, through 244. 241, 242, 243, 244 I talk about all the rabbit holes, primarily within network marketing, but really within most entrepreneurial endeavors. And then the last one that probably describes many of you is session 148, and that's called Fire Entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs that can just continue to fire and never really stop and take the time to aim. And if you're over 35 years old, I would ask you, and really everybody, but especially those of you that are over 35 years old, do you have a business opportunity and team that you're working with that you sincerely believe in? Do you have a business opportunity? And see, I asked somebody that last week, and they wanted to start pitching me how great global domains is. And I just wanted to throw up in my mouth a little bit while they're talking. It's like Global Domains International has been around, 20 years, maybe longer. It's a little rinky-dink affiliate program. And you're basically taking a product that can be bought and you're selling it for 4 times what a person can buy it at GoDaddy. Domain names. And yeah, there's training and there's all this other stuff, but it's a glorified money game. It's not going to attract anybody. What is the big attraction there? Trying to sell domains for 4 times what people know they can buy them for elsewhere. Now, granted, back in the day when that company started, a lot of people didn't know how to buy a .com. But guys, times have changed. And again, I had this conversation, or someone tried to have this conversation with me, and it's like, do you really believe what's coming out of your mouth? It blows my mind. It blows my mind. And again, if there's anything I've learned in the last few years, and I've always known it, but man, I get it, is people see things not as they are. They see things as they are. And like, cool, Global Domains, you've done well with it. This guy had been with them for 11 years. Cool. That's a really good little side project. Now are you ready to get wealthy with what you've learned in the last 11 years? Then find the right opportunity, the right time in history, and take your experience and walk through what I talked about here in the last week or so, the transfer portal. That was another session that I did. It's like, wake up. The work is the same. Why not spend it where you can get your biggest return? I don't understand. So anyway, if you don't have the right opportunity, you too should check out cmgihubteam.com, cmgihubteam.com. But I can tell you, if you're over 35 years old and you randomly click a video that says huge cryptocurrency income, free to join, doesn't cost a thing, 50 slots open, that is unacceptable at your age. It's unacceptable.
Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the #1 mind in network marketing, the MLM Prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small-town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Okay, guys, I want to welcome all of you that listen to this podcast every week. And it's like, Dale, what the heck was that? Look, if you clicked on this link, I'm not upset with you. If you're a regular listener, I mean, you listen every week, and I so appreciate that. But I got that email from Ava, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I just thought, there's a lot of people that are just out there just following the foo-foo dust, and that needed to be said. So, anyway, those of you that are regular listeners, I just got a couple things I want to share with you real quick. First of all, I appreciate you, and I hope you know that. Many of you, like me, are becoming more and more fascinated with this whole financial crypto world. And some of you have been, down this road and back a couple times way prior to me over the years. And some of you've read every article that we have posted at cmgcrypto.com. And I'm getting a lot of feedback on that as well. And I appreciate it. And you guys are encouraging me to keep, writing articles, and I will. You know, when I sit back, I just want to talk about this whole crypto world for a minute, because I think it maybe will help give all of us a little bit of clarification, because I know many of you are involved with us with iHub Global, and man, we're all just hoping that this becomes what we all believe it can be, and I believe it will be. But you know, there's a lot out of our control, as we all know. It just is what it is. But I believe I'll be in this crypto market for the rest of my life. I sincerely will. And it's really been fascinating, because I'm getting behind the scenes and looking behind the curtain as much as I possibly can. And it takes a certain level of techie skills, our willingness to learn, to even participate in the passive income generating opportunities the crypto market offers. Okay, it's not a matter of just setting up a Coinbase account and buying Ethereum and Bitcoin and hodling it. I don't know why they say hodling, but in the crypto market, holding is called hodling. So I don't know why they do that. Doesn't matter. But so there's a lot more opportunity, obviously, than just buying Bitcoin and holding on to it, or a few other coins and holding on to it. There's some opportunities for passive income, but to participate in those, you really, it takes the willingness to learn new technical skills that are very difficult to wrap your mind around, especially if you're used to just, logging into your brokerage account and buying more Tesla or whatever, because it's a whole lot different ball game in the crypto markets because of the different blockchains and so on and so forth, that different platforms, that different projects are being built upon. And there's just a lot to it, as some of you may or may not know. But just because somebody has the technical skills does not mean that they have the financial understanding and any kind of really risk rewards EQ. And what I see in the crypto market is there's a lot of people that have the tech skills to participate, but they're really just setting themselves up for financial disaster. And when I really look, so on one end, we got a group of people that have the tech skills, a lot of younger people that have the tech skills. They can go in and buy, the ring node that was a definite rug pull. They can get involved in these very highly speculative projects because they have the technical skills and they can do it easily. That's on one end. And then we have other people that have, that understand and have solid financial and business minds, who understand the volatility of markets. They understand, they have a high EQ, and understand the power of compound interest. And they understand, like this week I bought a bunch more Polygon because it went down quite a bit, so I can dollar cost average that, because I believe in the long-term, vision of that project. And they understand concepts like dollar cost averaging, etc. And it's really fascinating because but a lot of these people, from my generation or a little bit younger, even some millennials, when you start getting into going over the Polygon bridge, with your Ethereum wallet to be able to buy this token, so you can then transfer it into this brokerage account, so you can buy this token, so you can go through Trader Joe's and exchange it for what you need to be able to participate in that DAO or node program. I mean, it gets extremely complicated and hard to follow for a lot of people, without question. And the reason I believe that more of these projects have not been mass adopted, and why crypto has not been mass adopted, we don't have mass adoption yet, is because the entry points can be so difficult for people. So that's what I'm seeing at this point. It's like, why are more people not doing this? And then I think, okay, this is why. Because think about it, Dale. How long did it take you to even begin to understand what they were talking about, much less be able to implement what they're talking about? So the learning curve is it's like reading Chinese. It's extremely steep. Now, can anybody go on Coinbase pretty easily and buy Bitcoin? Absolutely. Should they? I believe so. I mean, I think it's a great store of value. That's why I first did it back in 2017. But, again, I'm just trying to give you some updates, guys. I'm not going anywhere with here, but just some things I want people to be aware of. Since I've been promoting the report that we did very heavily, how beginners can get involved with the crypto market, that report that many of you are familiar with, it has brought a constant flow of pitches daily to me. I mean, at a level that I would have never expected. I mean, daily somebody's telling me about some type of crypto project. Daily. I mean, multiple emails daily. It kind of reminds me of the mid-90s in network marketing, where everybody with a home computer, a PC, was buying a downline program and finding a product and starting a network marketing company. It's just crazy. And 95% of them are scams. And most of the people I've never met don't know who they are. So what I'm doing right now is, like, I have 1 hour every day scheduled for phone calls. And those are calling people that I've enrolled in iHub, or maybe Jules or Ernest or some of our out-of-country people have enrolled in iHub. People that are out of the U.S. or Canada. And I'm calling just to welcome them, try to get them plugged in and on track. Usually have to leave a voicemail real quickly because most people don't pick up. But I do meet some really good people, and I've had some really good conversations. And some of them end up, coming in and watching. They get plugged into the powwows that we do on Thursday night, etc. So anyway, I got 1 hour a day set aside for the people that I'm enrolling and the people outside the United States that are enrolling, to try to at least leave a voicemail message and welcome people to the team. And when I have extra time, then I have another list of people that send me these, Dale, you got to look at this crypto project. It's free to join. It doesn't cost a penny, blah, blah. All the stuff that people send me that's just ridiculous, which most of it I can look at and in a few seconds eliminate it, but not always. So I'm getting these every single day. And if I keep getting the same one over and over, then that's usually moves to the top of the list, and I'll go look at that usually first. But I'm doing a lot of this. And again, I don't have a lot of time. I've only got an hour a day, and the phone calls are the most important. But I just want to give you a quick example of this, because I want you guys to understand you got to be very, very careful in this market. There's so many scams, so many pump and dumps. It's ridiculous. I mean, it is really unbelievable. But in with that, there are a lot of credible projects as well, and projects that could be credible, that have some upside potential and have good people behind them. And if you got to understand your own risk rewards tolerance level personally. You got to have some EQ around that, and you got to really say, okay, where do I want to be in 5 years? What am I trying to do? What do I want to accomplish this year? If you're going to get in this crypto market, and I'm not saying everybody should. I don't think most people should. But if it fits you, it fits me really well, just because of the path, my entrepreneurial journey up to this point in time and place in my history. So it fits me well, and I have the patience. I know I don't have the technical skills at all, but I can learn, and I know I can learn, and it's getting a little bit easier all the time. And I'm just going to continue to move down this path, because it's exciting to me where this could be in 5 years. And when that, not even counting what the massive wealth generating upside potential, having 30,000 iHub global team members, which is our goal, can do. So I'm in a good place. But anyway, quick example, because I got 7 or 8 emails and I didn't know any of the people that were sending me this, but I did run across one. One person had sent this to me that I knew, and I knew him well. And I had seen the little logo. I'm not sure where, but I'd seen it. And this project is it's a crypto project called Punk Panda. And so I got this email from about 10 people. And again, I didn't know most of them, but one I did. Good person. I care about them. And in my mind, it's like they should be able to do the research and vet something before they send it to me. Honestly, I was really disappointed, because I felt like it was not vetted. It was not vetted, and they just sent it to me. They joined, and they joined, and in the email said, "Well, it's free to join, so there's nothing to lose." That's a key phrase. It's free to join, so there's nothing to lose. And I did some just real quick research last night, only because of my respect for this person, and I care about this person. So that's the only reason. And I found out, man, 450,000 people have joined this since October. 450,000. And what is it? Well, basically it's an app that you download on your phone. And the concept was really good. I mean, it got my attention in the beginning. So I watched this webinar, and it's an app that you download on the phone, and then you have like a WhatsApp, where you can text people, send people text messages through like a WhatsApp app. They also have coming. Again, don't hold me to anything that I'm saying ever. And especially now, because I'm doing all this from memory, okay? I'm just trying to give you a quick overview of what you need to be aware of and looking for. So anyway, then they had a program. They had 6 different pandas, and each panda is an NFT, and each NFT had a non-fungible token, and each NFT gives you a product that you can use. So one was like WhatsApp, one was like Dropbox, which my Dropbox bill is high. And if I could replace Dropbox with a NFT, I'd be all over that if it's legit. And then the other was, an NFT that gave you the opportunity to do online meetings like Zoom. And Zoom is, I guess, our 4th webinar platform. Some of you know I owned one of the very first platforms ever online in the late 90s called Orbitalk, and that was a disaster and a half. I was way too early. People didn't even know what a webinar or a Zoom meeting was back then. It's like, what are you talking about, Dale? What do you mean you're doing conference calls online? I'm saying, look, you can look at people. They see you, you see them, and you can talk over the internet, and you can do, instead of doing conference calls, you can have overheads, and it's like, it was just foreign. I was way early there. But anyway, they have something that's supposed to be like a Zoom room, which I'm hesitant to change, even though Zoom costs me enough, and so on and so forth. So I can't remember what the other apps are, but the other NFTs are, but they're all connected to an app. So you buy it, and then you can use the Zoom room or the Dropbox type product or whatever. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And at the time the original recording I heard, it was in October of last year, 2021, and they said the initial coin is getting ready to launch at 10 cents a coin. We're doing that tomorrow. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is already over. The initial launch of the coin, the initial drop of the coin. And then they're giving examples of, if you buy $1,000 worth, you get this, and $3,000, you get this, and you get a discount. If you do $5,000 or $10,000, then you get this. And so they're giving this whole pitch, and it's all sounding fine. And And then he's talking about, well, when it gets to $1 and you're ready to sell it, and he's talking like, well, that's going to happen like within a few hours or a few days, then you're only able to sell a certain amount. You can't dump it all at the same time. And it's like whatever you buy, it's 18 months before you can sell it all. And I'm thinking, I've seen that before, but not like this and not under this situation. And it doesn't feel real good. It doesn't feel right. But then he says, well, and we'll be on Pancake Swap, January 1st. Well, I think he said January, might have said December. This was again October of last year. But they said, we'll be on Pancake Swap. So there'll be, a much larger market for the coin once we get it on Pancake Swap. And, so you'll be able to liquidate the coin really easy through Pancake Swap. And those of you that don't know what Pancake Swap, it's kind of like Coinbase. It's an exchange for crypto, but it's pretty large. It's not some rinky dink, platform. It's not a rinky dink. It's not as big as Coinbase, but it's credible and it's been around a while. So that sounded good. And I'm thinking, okay, buy it for a dime, sell it for $1. I mean, even if it took 18 months to liquidate everything, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't know these people. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. And I don't want a lot of money wrapped up for that long of a time. 18 months is like 18 years in the crypto world. So it's, a lot of it just didn't feel real good. But I'm thinking, okay, well, this is it's on Pancake Swap. They've got 6 different NFTs out there. This is already launched. This was back in October when I'm listening to this. So let me go check it out. I bet that coin's probably at $3 or $4, but even if it is, maybe I'll just want to, this will be a coin I can keep an eye on because it might be a coin I just want to invest in, whether I get, because I've already missed the drop, and I use Zoom and I use Dropbox, and, it's worth checking out. Well, when I go in and look, it's like, what the heck? I'm thinking this has got good utility. There's good usage for what they're doing, what the products that they have. And it's like, I go in and look, and you know what the price of the coin is? This was yesterday. So we're, the end of February right now. 0.00073 cents. 4 zeros, 73 cents. So they had 450 some thousand people have joined this. Why? Because it's free to join. Just download the app. 450,000 who got in at 10 cents a coin because they're pitching it like this is going to be $1 within a day or two. And now it's 4.073 cents. And somebody just sent this to me. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Am I missing something here? Because I could be, but I don't think I am. So, again, you just got to be real careful. And especially if you're going to send something to somebody else, at least do some basic research. Don't tell Dale, oh, Dale, so it's free to join and you have nothing to lose. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, you do. And that's really the point that I want to make to our people that listen to this podcast every week. You absolutely have something to lose. You have something to lose big time. You have the most valuable asset that you have to lose, which is your time and also credibility. And when people send me this stuff, it's like I'll never seriously look at another thing that they send me. And that's just the way I am. I won't. So always do your due diligence, especially before you promote something to somebody else. The fact that this has a multi-level comp plan attached to it is another major red sign. And I looked, and it was like there's 10 trillion of these coins that have been produced at a cost of zero to the people that started it. And it just, it sounded great because of the use case. But it looks like this is just it's been a disaster to this point. And then I got on, their most recent AMA and Ask Me Anythings with the owner, with the founder and the team. And the only reason I did that, because there's no way I'm getting involved, but it's like, I don't want the person that sent me this to invest a bunch of money in a project that's probably going to go to zero before it's all said and done. And so I didn't want that. And that's why I got on the AMA. And it's like they're talking 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 minutes about how evidently somebody has hijacked and stole a bunch of teams' downlines from somebody. They've gotten the system and stole a bunch of people's downlines, and how you have to change your affiliate link, and we're going to get to the bottom of this and all this other stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, a headache waiting to happen. I mean, there's enough challenges in business to have to deal with something like this on the side that may or may not ever get off the ground. And at this point, more than likely won't. So again, I just want to tell you guys, if you're moving in the crypto space, always do your own due diligence before you promote something to somebody else. Understand I've never seen one great opportunity or great project that didn't have negativity, a negative article somewhere, or some kind of negative something said by somebody. Never. All of them do. That's part of the game. But you got to be more than just a headline reader. I mean, you got to go behind the curtain a little bit and really, really do your own due diligence. It's like, oh, Joe Blow said no, so therefore it's nothing. Well, who the heck is Joe Blow, and what does Joe Blow know? Consider the source. And again, that's what I try to do, as you guys know that listen to this every week. But I would ask you to just maybe stop and ask yourself, is it time for me to stop and do a 3-step reset plan? I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that the people that don't know me and don't listen to this podcast every week and responded because of the clickbait title that I gave it on purpose, their mindset's probably in the wrong place. But I know for most of you that listen to this regularly, I would say the opposite about you guys. But if it's made you think at all, you might want to check out story 248 in this podcast. It's called I'll Never Quit My Network Marketing Company. Maybe you should. It's worth a listen. And here's here's the last thing one of the last things I want to share with you. On your entrepreneurial journey, there will be times when you need to stop and refocus, reset. Okay. That's just part of this process. Sometimes you have to stop and you have to rethink and reset. And see, if you've worked with me in the past, I've had so many people, and it's really kind of strange, like Dale, I had somebody that said, Dale, I worked with you I remember you from MPB, and you spent all this time with me, and you did this and you did that. And I never followed up, and I never followed through. And I was really embarrassed to contact you about what you're doing with iHub Global. And I'm thinking, ma'am, I don't take this personal. This is business. I understand life happens, things happen. And I would tell everybody that I've ever worked with, if I have cut off communication with you, you know it. I promise. And there's been multiple people that I have over the years. But I give everybody the benefit of the doubt once, and then twice, but never 3 times. And that's the way I have to operate. So, and again, I don't get upset when somebody, loses focus and goes in a new direction or whatever. That's just part of this journey. We all have to live, learn, and move forward. It doesn't bother me at all. So, and she said, I didn't know if you'd welcome me back. And I said, well, of course. So, of course. But what I would tell all of you guys, never stop your entrepreneurial journey. Don't stop it. Enjoy it every day. Encourage people every day. Sometimes you do need to reset. Sometimes you need to reset with the company you're in, the opportunity. Sometimes you need to reevaluate. Sometimes you need to pivot. And that's part of it. So we're good. And in the beginning of this, I said, just to grab people's attention at the very beginning of this podcast, I said, we give people the path to becoming a millionaire. And just for the record, I really believe that. Okay. I sincerely believe it is. And that's why I probably sent, the book that Robert Kiyosaki, I used to send his book to people, when we were carrying it at MLMhelp.com. And I would send that book. I'd go grab one off the shelf and send it. And that's a great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And again, many of you, if you listen to this podcast regularly, you've heard me talk about the ultimate goal is getting to a point where you can start investing in income generating assets. Y'all have heard me say that. And the crypto market offers multiple income generating passive income programs, most of which are rug pulls and scams, but there's a few that have upside potential for a while. So again, I'm fascinated with this whole thing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here. I'm trying to work my way through it. And the last thing I want to do is misguide anybody at any time. So do your own due diligence always. Read everything. If you find out, well, Dale's doing this, so I need to do it, that's a wrong reason to do it. But just one final thing, just because I write about it on my blog at cmgcrypto.com, it doesn't mean I'm using the service. A lot of time, if I say I'm using it, then I'm using it. But a lot of this, as I'm gathering information, I'm doing it so when it's time, I can go back and do the research and I don't have to relook at everything all over again. I've got all the articles and everything I need at my fingertips. So that's all I really wanted to share with you. One last thing. I am probably going to be doing a webinar here soon. I got to figure out when, because we're getting ready to get into March Madness. It's getting ready to get serious with the University of Kentucky basketball. But at some point, I'm going to be doing a webinar called, I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet, but I'm going to be sharing a couple of passive income generating programs that I think people should maybe take a look at if they're so inclined. I don't have so if you want to stay in the loop on that, I gotta figure out how to do a search box on this website. If you go right now, or when this first drops to cmgcrypto.com, and if you look, there's an article that says, want to stay in the loop on my vetted crypto plays. And there's, at the bottom of that, there's a email list that you can sign up for. And I will put the direct link in the podcast notes. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for, staying with me on this. Understand what my thought process was. Just trying to help people really get focused around the things that will move their life and their business forward. That's my focus. Always has been, always will be. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week on another session of the MLM Success Podcast.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.